Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. So my name is Lexi Jong, and today I'm just going to do a quick get ready with me featuring some new to me products. So these are not new releases per se, but they are things that are new to me. And let me get started by telling you, I just have my skincare down, and I finished off my skincare with the Beautylish Recherche Serum de Teint. I use shade number 1, and it's technically a finishing serum. So some people use it completely as skincare and then go ahead and they apply their sunscreen afterwards and then the rest of their makeup, foundation, everything like that. Sometimes I will use it just as makeup and I'll put a primer down first even sometimes. So, it kind of goes either way in my opinion at least. But I do think it kind of balances my skin tone really well, and it seems to like make my skin look a little bit firmer, a little bit more plump. So I've been really enjoying that. So I have that down, I've had that on for a while now. And I'm gonna give myself a little bit more coverage by using the Clé de Peau Radiant Cream to Powder Foundation. So I use shade I-10, and it's this. It does come with a little sponge applicator, but I prefer using a brush for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the Chikuhodo FO2. So I just swirl the brush in here and just gonna apply a little bit. So with the Beautylish, I really like to use that a lot on, well, no makeup days or the no makeup days, because I think it's really light and natural. And then this Clé de Peau Radiant Cream to Powder Foundation, I also really like for light coverage. And again, I just applied a very, very tiny bit because I do want my real skin to kind of show through today. So I don't want anything major. This brush is super, super soft. So yeah, I've been enjoying that as well. Okay, so I think for today, I want to start off with applying a bronzer, and I am not a bronzer person. Every time I've tried them in the past, they're always like too orange or, too brown. They just never really work so well with my skin tone. But one of the ones that a lot of you guys have recommended, and I guess you see pretty much everywhere online as a recommendation, is the Tom Ford Soleil Bronzer in Terra. And I haven't tried it yet. Okay, so this comes in the white Soleil Compact. I purchased a small size. It does come in 2 sizes. And just take the mirror sticker off. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. I'm going to use the Rephr P22 brush for this, and just going to get a little bit on my brush. I'm going to just start small and kind of see how it goes. This brush really does work really well for a bronzer product. Since I don't use bronzer frequently or contour products frequently, I usually use this more for powder application. But if you are somebody who uses bronzers and so forth a lot, I think that was the intended purpose for this, but I think that actually worked pretty well. It's just like a light amount, but I think it really helped with the contouring, and yeah, this color actually I think looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and swatch this for you guys, for those of you who are not somebody who already has this, but you can see that it's kind of like a neutral toned brown. It's not completely warm. It's got a little bit of coolness to it, which I think works well for me. The ones that are more warmer toned usually don't. So I think we'll stick with that. We'll just keep that light application. I really like how it played here. The forehead didn't make a huge difference for me, but Yeah, so, okay. So another product that I recently purchased is the Chantecaille Cheek Gelée in Happy. So I actually have, you know, I thought I had both of the other colors, but I can't find my other one of this. I do have this one in Vibrant, and there are 3 colors, and I want to say I have all of them now, but I can't find it. So I'll have to take a look for that. But this is how it comes. So it's in this squeeze tube, and it's got like this little plastic cover on it. There we go. It was just a little hard to kind of pull off at first. So when I use these, I like to just put a tiny bit on my hand, and then I either tap it onto my cheeks or I smear it on my hand and use a brush. So I think we'll use a brush today. I'll just smear it in. You can see it's like a really light pearly pink here. And it's like a warmer toned pink. So I think for this, we'll go ahead and use the Sonia G Classic Cheek. It's one of my favorite cheek brushes. And I'm gonna just pop this on here. Now these cheek gelées, I really like them. They last absolutely forever because I just, you know, use such a small amount at a time. I'm sure the product will actually go bad before I finish it up. I'm just gonna add a little bit more to my hand, but you can see it gave like just a little bit of a light pink look there. All right. All right. Just gonna swirl it on here. All right, I like that. So it's nice, it's light, it's definitely gonna be an easy look. All right, so I like that shade, but I'm going to add just a little bit. This is the other color I pulled out in Vibrant. I can't remember, but I think this one was part of the summer collection for 2019, or maybe the fall, but it's much, much deeper. And for me, this color does work really well for like a light pop if you go very lightly. So I'm just gonna dab the same brush into it and just go a little bit and just kind of put that just in the front here. I'll just kind of blend those together. Okay, so that's it for blush. Okay, and let's move on to eyes. I purchased one of these Chantecaille Mermaid eye colors, something I've been wanting to purchase for quite a while, and I finally decided to do that. And I purchased the shade Triton. So this is it. Let's see here. Wow, that is really pretty. So I'm gonna use this finger, apply it to my eyes, apply it to my eyes with my finger, and then I'm gonna take a brush and kind of blend out the edges of it. This is really smooth and thin feeling. It doesn't feel as thick of a formula as some of the cream eyeshadows. All right, let me go ahead and take a brush. This is the Refer 12, and you can see it's just kind of like a dense circular brush. I'm just gonna get a little bit more on the actual brush and kind of blend these edges here. All right, I love this color. It's like a champagne-y taupe. So it's definitely a taupe shade, but the like metallic finish to it is more of a champagne color, which kind of makes it a little bit lighter and just a little bit more, I don't know, opulent seeming. All right, I do want to add another color though. So I'm going to take this Chanel. This is one of the newer liquid eyeshadows that came out for the summer, I think is spring, summer 2020. This is the shade Rayon. And I'm going to apply a little bit of this inner corner. So I'm just going to dab a little bit here. And I'm going to use the brush to kind of blend it in. And I really like these liquid eyeshadows, and I also think they work great as eyeliners as well. Okay, so that just gave me a little bit of brightness there. And I do want to add a little bit to the outer edge as well. So I'm going to take another one of these liquid shadows. This is number 28, Desert Wind. Just going to add a dab here. And blend that. I'm going to go over this with the Triton as well. So it's just a little bit of color there, but I'm actually seeing the Triton more. I just want to get a little bit more depth. Okay, so back in with the Triton, same brush, just getting a little bit on the brush, and I'm just going to go over that. Okay, and then for under the eyes, I'm going to go back in with the Triton, and I'm going to use, this is the Sonia G Flat Definer, and I'm going to use the tip of this and just go underneath here. Can make that a little bit thicker. Okay, so that's good for under the eyes, but I do want to get a little liner on the top. So I'm going to go back into this Desert Wind shade. I'm using the same brush. I'm just using that brush to get a little bit of the product up. And I'm going to wipe it on my hand so it's, you know, not gloppy at all. And I'm just going to line lightly. All right, so I'm just gonna buff the edges a little bit. This is the Chantecaille Luminescent Eye Shade in Cheetah, and it's just a really light champagne color. I'm gonna take the Rephr 16. This is just a big blending brush. I'm just swirling my brush in it, tapping it off. Just gonna kind of blend here and bring up some of that sparkle. Okay, now I'm just gonna wipe off this brush that I used and go in and blend one more time without any product. All right, so those are the eyes. Now, before we move on to mascara, I do want to add a little bit of under eye concealer. Since I'm keeping it very light today, I'm going to go in with one of the highlighting concealers. This is the Sisley Stila Lumiere in shade 1. I'm just going to add a little bit of this. Add a little bit more. All right, so for brows, I'm going to keep that light as well. I'm going to use the Wander Beauty Brow Pencil in Taupe. I'm just gonna add in a little bit here. This area here is pretty sparse. Like most people my age, when I was a teenager, I did, pluck my eyebrows, and they just never really grew back the same. So they're both a little different from each other in areas that they're sparse. Like this, my right eyebrow here, I'm definitely missing more hairs here, but I do have like a patch here and so forth. So I just kind of don't ever pluck them anymore. Yeah, I haven't done anything to my brows except pluck like a stray hair or two in years now because I kind of over plucked so much when I was younger. All right, so I think I'm gonna add a little bit of mascara and just curl my lashes a bit. I'm just finishing up this Lancome Monsieur Big sample. And I'm not going to do the bottom lashes today. Again, I just want to keep this really, really light and not necessarily like a no makeup look, but a very light makeup look. So I'm just going to take this is the Tweezerman eyelash comb. I'm just running it through the bottom lashes. Any of the pigment from the mascara that came off on the top lashes, some of it might deposit on there. Okay, so I think that is almost everything. The last thing I want to do is just add a little bit of finishing powder, and I was going to use the Chikuhodo moisture brightening powder, but I think I'm going to go back in with the Guerlain Meteorites today. So I'm going to use the Beautylish Chikuhodo Lunar New Year brush. I think I love this handle. It makes me smile every time I see it. So for that alone, it was a good investment. I'm going to use that for the meteorites. Okay, but I do want to set under my eyes a little bit with that concealer. So I'm going to take, this is the Givenchy powder, and this is Mousseline Pastel #1, and it's got the 4 colors. So when I dump in the lid, they still kind of stay separate. So I can kind of use, a specific color for correcting. And I'm going to use the purple, just dab a little bit on under my eyes here. It's a little much there. And I'm just going to take this brush and brush that out. All right, so this brush is it's just the Kevin Aucoin contour brush, which I use for under eyes. And I'm just gonna take this brush again, nothing added to it, and just make sure everything is smooth. All right, and then for lips, I'm going to go ahead and use, this is the Chantecaille Lip Chic from the Hummingbird collection in Honeysuckle, which is one of my favorites. And that's it. Just a really light, easy look using some products that were new to me. So overall, I really liked everything that I tried. I'm definitely going to be using this bronzing powder from Tom Ford more. And I like the effect. Maybe I've been a little bit too quick to dismiss bronzers for my skin tone. But I do really like this one. And I am going to play with it some more. The Mermaid Eye Color, I have heard great things about these with the staying power and everything. So I personally haven't used them before, but I love the way it went on. I like the actual color of it. And I like how thin the texture is. It doesn't feel heavy at all, but it's still very pigmented. And I love the sparkle. So I really like it so far. We'll see how well it lasts on me. I did not use a primer today, but from everything I've heard, these last pretty well. And I know some people actually put these down as like a base instead of using an eye primer. So I'm definitely eager to try more of these. The Chantecaille Cheek Gelée, I already knew that I would like this since I have at least one other. I'm pretty sure I have the other one somewhere. I know I used to. I did lose a few things when I moved last year, so for another video, I actually just replaced all of my Chantecaille blushes, the powder blushes. So I'll have those in another video, but I did lose a few of those in the move and I didn't have all of them to begin with. So I just decided to get all of those. But yeah, these I do really like. So I feel like the color lasts pretty well. I wore this a lot in the vibrant shade a lot last summer when it was really hot out, and I didn't have any issues with it really like fading or anything. I think maybe by the end of the day I did, you know, on those really hot days, but for the most part, everything looked really nice and it stayed pretty well on my skin. So I will definitely be using them a lot more this summer as well. So that is everything. So thank you so much for joining me. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have used any of these products or you have any other product recommendations, please leave them down below. I'm making a list for once the quarantine situation is kind of over with and, you know, work goes back to normal. So, you know, I'm writing everything down, making a list for shopping. So thank you so much. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.